What's up guys, Plethora here. So I know you guys have been asking for dungeon guides, like for some of the basic dungeons, want to learn how to do them, improve your game. So I figured I'd cover one here. Really basic dungeon, Sprite Worlds. So these drop from Sprite Gods and Godlands there, those little white stars they have. It's actually called Sprite Children. So yeah, you just run up to a Sprite God, fucking kill its children in front of you, and boom, you're in a Sprite World. So Sprite World starts off, it's got this little room, some trees that you can break, if you want to destroy them even more. Most of the minions you'll see there are the smaller sprites. These are just like the ones you'd find in the realm in not Midlands, but the place just before it, like where you'll find the wyverns, the horn drakes or whatever. Stuff like that. Pretty easy. Low health, don't do a lot of damage. And there's about 5 types of them. There is the blue ones, which will just shoot little slow shots. You got the light blue ones, which do a little bit more damage. You have the red ones, they'll shoot like a flurry of shots. And then you have the black ones. So what those ones will do, they'll shoot, their shots will stay still for a bit and then they'll come at you. Overall, not too dangerous. And then they have a medium version of each of these. These have a bit more health, do a bit more damage, have different shot patterns, but again, not all that dangerous. The things you gotta watch out for are the native Sprite Gods. So these can come in all different forms, so they will be one of the 5 colors, and they will switch when you do like half of their health of damage. So certain phases that are dangerous in those particularly are the black and light blue. Not to mention the green. So those ones, they tend to do the most damage, and they shoot shots at silence. So if you're dependent on your ability, say you're like a priest, definitely watch out for those. The dark blue is the easiest to do. They'll just shoot slow shots everywhere, and they don't do that much damage. So good thing about killing these big guys is they have a chance to drop attack. Now, you typically won't run into attack all too often too many places, but this is a good little source of them, especially when you're just trying to run some Sprite Worlds. So when you get to boss, the boss is Lemon, the Sprite Goddess. So she will be active as soon as you walk in, start shooting these shots. It'll start out with like 3, and then it'll expand and shoot more and more shots, and she'll keep going back and forth in between that. Best to get your damage in here, do what you can. So after this beginning phase, she will go invulnerable and switch into one of the 4 or 5 different forms. 4 different forms. So she'll either turn light blue, where the shots will come through and bisect the area, so like cut it in half. You don't want to cross into those, and she'll go into one of the corners there and then shoot these like shots in like a spiral. Not too much damage to be taken unless you're standing in the thing, the shots cutting the map in half. Good way to get damage there. Then there's the ice form. So she'll shoot slowing shots from the back of or the bottom of the map there that'll go up all the way throughout the map, and then shoot these diagonals that'll just pop, 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 pop kind of thing. Those diagonals do like 50 damage. They do a little bit. But the slow shots that cover basically the entire map, they don't do too much damage, but they do slow you. So all the tiles on the ground too will switch to moving towards the far side of the map. She'll stay within one area there and just kind of move back and forth. Pretty easy, honestly. And then there's the green phase. In this phase, she will like run around in circles throughout that little area there and shoot shots that go towards the center of the room. This one you can take some damage, plus there's these little green things that shoot out from the sides, and those will linger around, do quite a bit of damage, especially if they stack up. So for this phase, I tend to try to push her out of it as soon as possible, so do as much damage as you can, because when those shots stack up and you get into the final phase there, you can run into them and honestly they can kill you. The last form here is the darkness form. She turns black, and she will run around in circles basically following you, and she'll shoot these this like 5 shotgun of 5 shots that'll stay still for a bit and then come after where you were when she originally spawned them. Those shots can do quite a bit of damage, but it's easy to avoid if you just keep, you know, rotating rather than moving in the same like direction. So after those phases, she will go into her final phase. There will be shots that come from like all 4 corners and meet up in the middle, and those will happen kind of sporadically, and she'll go into one of these 4 sections. When she originally gets there, she'll shoot out this little blast, and she'll pretty consistently be shooting these little shots towards you that do like 50 damage. And then also when she goes to move, she'll shoot this one shot that does 100 armor break damage. Kind of a pain. This is the final phase though, so you know, just dodge as many of the shots as you can. Don't get caught in those lasers cutting the map into 4, and honestly it's pretty easy. So you may be wondering, why are Sprite Worlds worth doing? Well, they drop dexterity, which is quite a useful stat, typically the one I'd like to max first on a character. With dexterity, it increases how fast you shoot, so it increases your DPS as a whole. Not to mention, you can get some pretty decent gear here, especially if you're new. Like, you can get tier 5 abilities, you can get T8 weapons, T3 rings, nothing too crazy, but there's also the UTs. Oh, I forgot to mention too, the boss can also drop defense. Very useful, you know, decrease your damage 1 per defense. But the UTs that drop here, you got the Staff of Extreme Prejudice, which is basically a circle shotgun all around you, but it doesn't go that far. It's only good if you plan on like standing on things to do damage. Not honestly suggested in 90% of situations, but you know, nice little situational item if you get the chance. Then you also have the Cloak of the Planewalker. So this cloak has the same invisibility and basically the same stats as a T5 cloak. The only difference is you teleport to cursor like you would a trickster with it. So it can be useful if you're trying to like rush through. I know a lot of people like use it as their main cloak. You know, it's a pretty useful little item. And then you have the Mace of the Celestial Forest. This is a summoner one. So what it'll do is it'll spawn trees, and instead of being able to control them like you can with other summons, they will stay stationary where you put them. And they have like different attacks that they'll do based off the color that they are. Pretty useful little mace, especially if you have like a boss that's standing still. And then for STs, it drops this ring. It's called the Q-Band. It's part of the ST Necro set. So it gives you 80 health, 5 dexterity, and it has this this ability, you know, the proc, I think is what they're called. So like when you're in combat, it'll heal 100 health randomly as a cooldown of 20 seconds, which is quite a bit of time, but I know using this ring sometimes, it's definitely saved me. You know, the random 100 health, especially when you're, say, in like a dangerous boss fight or whatnot, it can be quite useful. Well, anyways guys, this is what I got for you. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope this helps you out. Let me know down in the comments what dungeon you'd like to see next, or if this helped you out, really whatever. Alright.